Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. People, Luis Ortiz, got to put some respect on that old Cadillac's name, man. Luis Ortiz comes to fight, and that old man has one of those amazing stories, man. It's hard for me not to root for the old Cadillac. I'm going to root for him. But I got to be honest with you, I'm concerned about his punch resistance. But for those of you who don't know, man, and maybe some of y'all been living underneath a rock and don't know why Luis Ortiz just won't hang up the gloves. I'll tell you, first of all, is because he still has a lot to offer. Okay, he hasn't really taken any damage, but I think those shots he took by Wilder affected his punch resistance. But he really hasn't taken any damage, and he's relatively young in his boxing career. For those of you who don't know, see, there's a lot of y'all on here who don't know shit about boxing and don't do your research. Everybody call him an old man, tell him to hang up the gloves. Well, why? Canelo's been boxing almost twice professionally, boxing almost twice as long as Luis Ortiz. Y'all didn't know that, huh? So we gotta really kind of throttle back a little bit when we're giving him so much pressure to hang up the gloves. Because at the end of the day, Luis Ortiz, he's going to fight until his daughter is rid of her illness. And with the type of illness she has, she'll never get rid of that illness. She has a pretty serious condition, man. It's pretty bad. And it's really unfortunate. But the thing is, the love for his daughter and what he's trying to make sure he has in place for her, for his family. The question is, what will that be his downfall? Like, the signs are there that maybe he should, if he's gonna keep fighting, maybe he won't get to those title fights because he may have to get in there with some guys who can really hit hard and can hurt him. And when a guy doesn't know when to hang it up, that's where they have problems. Now, I don't think it's time for him to hang it up. But what I'm telling you is 3 or 4 more fights, especially if we notice he's getting hit and still going down. Around that time, it may be time for him to kind of, just pull chalks and call it quits. Because if he continues, right, and now he's noticing a guy who doesn't normally take punishment, taking punishment, that's where we're gonna get. It's gonna get a little shaky. And that's what I don't want. But for those of you who don't know, right, Luis Ortiz, you keep hearing him talk about his daughter, right? His daughter, her name is Liz Mercedes Ortiz, right? And she has a disease called epidermolysis bullosa. For short, they call it EB. Okay? And that is a rare skin disease that she suffers from. So we have 3 different layers of skin. She only has 1. So a day-to-day chore like changing her clothes can be quite painful because any little scrape or scratch, there's only 1 layer of skin. So that can result in something that feels the severity of like a burn or something like that. So his daughter has always suffered from that. And the type of pain that she has endured, there's nothing he can do to help her. So that's why when you hear him talk about his daughter, and Deontay Wilder understanding his daughter and the fact that Deontay Wilder had a daughter with an illness as well. So now you know from where it derived, since she was a baby. Now let me break something down to you guys, all right? The Cuban boxer Luis Ortiz, he steps into the boxing ring for his daughter. But him coming into the boxing ring isn't like a lot of other professional boxers for a lot of fame and wealth. He came to the USA not to be a professional boxer. See, you guys are about to learn something about Luis Ortiz. He came here to try to get help to treat his daughter's disease. Before getting into his daughter's rare disease, I think a lot of y'all need to understand Luis Ortiz himself. Now, we all know we call him King Kong and everything like that. He once held the WBA interim heavyweight title from 2015 to 2016. Then he was a challenger for the WBC heavyweight title twice in 2018 and 2019. He's about 6'4", 6'5", and known for his hard punching power and his elusive counterpunching skills, which were on full display last night. He was ranked the world's 8th best boxer in the heavyweight division by the Ring magazine in November 2021. Now, this is the thing about Luis Ortiz. He's about 43 now. He made his debut, his professional boxing debut, in 2010 as a 30-year-old. Did you guys know that? He turned pro at age 30. So when you see that he's been boxing for 13 years, and Canelo's been boxing since he's been professionally, well, he's been boxing professionally since 2010 at age 30. Canelo's been boxing professionally since he's been 15 years old, okay? Canelo's been boxing longer than Ortiz. And Canelo's had twice as many fights. So when you look at the miles on a guy like Canelo, or the miles on these other guys who are 50, 60 plus fights, okay? So it's a big difference. And their wear and tear and Ortiz's wear and tear. That's why I said, you know, we shouldn't be so quick to say he needs to go ahead and retire. But we saw what happened with him and Charles Martin, where Ortiz went down a couple of times, but he was able to still get him out of there with the big shot. But now that you guys understand that, what Ortiz is, you know, hasn't been boxing as long as you think. When we talk about that rare skin disease, that condition can cause fragile and blistering skin to his daughter. The patients who suffer from this disease, like I said already, the patients who suffer from this disease, instead of having 3 layers of skin like most people, have only 1 layer, and with that, even little rubbing or friction on the skin can cause pain, like enduring a 3rd-degree burn. So that's why when he talks about his daughter, he cries so much, because she was a little, can you imagine having a newborn child, a toddler, and they can't play, they can't kick a ball, even playing the piano, sports, anything, they can't do it because there's always the risk of some kind of abrasion or something happening where they're in this extreme pain, and there's just not much that can be done to help quell that. But Luis Ortiz is a caring father that came to the USA in 2009. He turned pro as a boxer in 2010. He sailed the ocean in a small boat and walked across 2 deserts in 1 shoe. He only had 1 shoe. He did that for his daughter. He started boxing to support his family financially and to treat his little girl. So see, when he came here, he had to figure out how can I make money? What is it that I need to do? And he had to kind of default on what he did best, and that was boxing, okay? Now, the thing about her situation is there really is no care to date, and people suffering from it need to be extra careful doing normal day-to-day work. So there's really no way to really care for this disease. Medication and stuff like that, but there's really no way to care for it. And even changing dresses becomes a hassle. You know what I'm saying? Changing clothes. You know, socks, sneakers, unless you have someone to assist you. She can't even bending over and doing things. When they come to those boxing matches, she has to be very careful. That's why you notice when they walk, they're very close. People can't bump into her. She, you know, like no one can rub into her with a coat. You know, she can't afford to have any kind of injuries, man. Otherwise, she suffers of what's the equivalent of like 3rd-degree burns, man. You know, it's sad, that fragile skin. But we know Luis is going to do everything possible, and if that means fighting another 10 years to make sure he has the kind of money necessary to take care of his daughter, to make sure that, you know, everything she needs is met. And he said he came to this country to try to help find a cure to make her better. And as of right now, we don't know really the condition of his daughter. It sounds like she's getting the help that she needs. They haven't cured the illness yet, but she is, from an interview Ortiz did a while back when he was fighting Wilder, that she's doing better. But there isn't much information out there on Mercedes disease. That's his daughter's name. But he's doing everything possible to keep her safe and healthy. And you know, he's a devoted father, devoted husband, devoted family man. So when you guys think about Ortiz and him hanging it up, now you kind of have a little bit of a background on his daughter, the condition, exactly how it affects her, and what's kind of fueling this man to still fight. Because when you look at his last 10 fights, Andy Ruiz lost. Really should have won that fight. Let's just be real, okay? That was his fight to win. Andy Ruiz didn't really, beat him down. That's not what happened. When Ortiz let his hands go, he was giving Ruiz the business. He got in there with Martin, knocked him out. Flores knocked him out. Wilder, we know what happened. Was beating him up until that point. Christian Hammer beat him. Kaufman beat him. Kajana beat him. Wilder, we know what happened. March beat him. Allen beat him. So when you look at the last 10 fights and you look at where he has the losses, those fights with Wilder, he was giving Wilder the business. But Wilder has that equalizer. With Andy Ruiz, it was a really evenly matched fight. But Andy Ruiz was lucky to get those knockdowns, and as a result, he got the win. But Ortiz was giving Andy Ruiz the business. I'm surprised Ruiz didn't go down, because Ortiz was giving him. He was launching that Cuba missile of a left hand, wasn't he? But at the end of the day, I think Ortiz beats a lot of these guys. But I'm just concerned after 3 or 4 fights, especially if he's going against the elite. We're here where he's worried about his daughter's health and her illness. Gonna be a kind of reverse situation of 180, where the family's now kind of looking at him, the sole provider. They can't afford for nothing to go wrong with him. So I think he needs to be careful. I think he can always go out there and snatch little $500,000, $1 million fights, getting there with guys who aren't that much of a threat and clip him. But if he's still passionate about winning a title, he runs the risk of getting himself really hurt. Because when you see a guy, it's like Roy Jones. You weren't used to seeing Roy Jones get hit and hurt. Then we start seeing him get hit and then get hurt. It became a pattern, you know what I'm saying? With Ortiz, we're seeing him get hit and hurt now. There's a pattern developing here. You guys pay attention. So how can we sit there and not expect in his next fight, if he's in there with somebody with, heavy hands, to not go down again or maybe get hurt worse now, okay? So there's a pattern developing, and it's not good. But anyway, I'll let you guys comment below on what you think. I just wanted to bring y'all that little thing about his daughter so you can understand what's going on with him, and give you my opinion on Ortiz, the old Cadillac. I think he's going to keep fighting until he's like 50 years old, man, because I really feel he doesn't have a choice. He came here from Cuba, not to be lazy, not to sit here and be in bed being like, I still got it, but I'm not going to go do anything because I'm comfortable. This man has a different drive, and it's hard to understand that drive unless you had to come across an ocean on a stupid-ass, small bullshit boat or cardboard or whatever it was he was in to get over here. Cross deserts with one shoe. And you hear some more extreme stories of guys leaving Cuba coming over here. They didn't come here to lay down and be lazy. So he's going to work as hard as he can until he can't do it no more to make sure that he really changed the life of not only his immediate family, but generations after. And he'll do that even if it kills him. And that's what we don't want to happen. With that being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Shout out to everyone across the world, man, and especially veterans and those who are out there just, providing to society, man. I appreciate everyone's support. It means a lot to me. Y'all keep cool. Cadillac's going to keep on rolling, and I think he should, but you got to be careful. As always, I'm in the breeze.